Okay, today is the pumpkin day of 2020. I'm Mohammad Babadoost. I'm a plant pathologist for vegetable and fruit crops. I have been at the University of Illinois since 1999. Pretty much focused on the disease of cucurbits and a few other crops as well. Today I'm going to be talking the major diseases of pumpkins we saw this year and in the past few years in Illinois. Those are bacterial spot everywhere this year. This disease started relatively 2005. Every year increased. We have had several research projects, but still we're not able to control it. I would say manage it effectively. Still, there is a problem, and we're going to be testing. We're going to be testing the cultivar. We're going to be testing chemicals. We are studying all biocontrol agent. We're studying crop rotations, everything, every possible to come up with IPM, integrated disease management of this disease. But it's still, we're losing quite much. What is the bacterial bacterial spot of pumpkin? Here I do have some leaves. I brought it here, and these are the typical bacterial pumpkin spots. And the disease starts as a lesion, a small lesion in the beginning. For example, here, and we can see the lesion on the upper surface and the lower surface of the leaves, and gradually we may end up losing the leaves like this, so beginning at the edge, become necrotic, dead tissues, and the leaf pretty much lost. However, pumpkin has quite much leaf, and the leaf infection is not really impacting the yield. What is impacting the yield is the fruit infection. Really, leaf infection provides inoculum for the fruit infection. And we have detected infection by bacteria, which is Xanthomonas cucurbitae, from about 4-leaf stage until about harvest, even beyond harvest, depends on. And on pumpkin fruits, it is difficult to detect unless we really closely look at it. These are very typical lesions. Even they are not large. They are small, about 1 to 3 milliliter in diameter, but they stay dry. As you see here, white pumpkin. And when it goes to different pumpkin, lesions would be different. Not all lesions are the same. Similarly in the leaf, depends on the cultivar, we may have very tiny brown lesions up to maybe several millimeters of translucent lesions. We have to really get experience what cultivar shows what symptoms. We have all documented and pretty much all of them published so far, and we do have lots of stuff available there. Why these lesions are important? For example, here. The lesion by itself is not going to cause the yield loss. The lesion gradually, particularly in wet condition, is taken over by saprophyte, particularly bacterium, what we call soft rot bacterium, Erwinia, and also some saprophyte fungi like Fusarium. When they take over, and then they start rotting fruit. Even the rotting fruit with stink. We can smell from relatively far away. That's what the fruit start rotting and collapsing. We have had sometimes the collapsing fruit is very rapidly going on if that's warm, and also moist condition, rainfall or huge day-night water on them, and it goes very fast. in commercially, any infected fruit, even with one lesion, would be rejected. For example, if you contract the pumpkins, like for example, what we have some companies in Illinois, they're not going to take any fruit with lesion. So we have to come up with really truly controlled disease. That's what when we will satisfy. I do have fact sheets for this one. Here is the fact sheet, as you see here, on the lesions on the leaves, and as you see this one on the fruits. Mainly, this is called cucurbit spots of cucurbits, bacterial spot of cucurbits. But really, in Illinois, so far, what I know goes to pumpkin and winter squash. We have not seen this one in zucchini. We have not seen in the yellow squash and cucumber either. Mainly, the problem is pumpkins, all pumpkins, processing pumpkins, and also Halloween pumpkins, what we call jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, and also winter squash. Summer squashes, no problem. Melons, no problem. Watermelons in Illinois, no problem. In Georgia, they have reported as a problem, but in Illinois, is no problem. This is reported to be seed-borne. In fact, all this bacteria, Xanthomonas bacteria, are seed-borne. But so far, we have not been able to get the bacterium from the seed to the seedling. You know, probably originally people detected this bacterium in the seed, and they said, aha, this is a seed-borne. Not necessarily. Seed-borne is the pathogen going from the seed to the plant. If it does not, it is carried on the seed or in the seed, but not necessarily going to the plant. So far, we do not have a very good document to say this is seed-borne. However, we do have methods developed here at the University of Illinois to completely eradicate the bacterium in the seed. If happened, somebody wants a seed to be clean, we do have very good procedure, completely clean them up. However, after we clean them up, it might be coming from the field. How this bacterium survives in the field, very likely in the plant tissue, either leaf tissue or fruit tissue, just left in the field. We have documented bacterium survives in both fruit tissue and the leaf tissue more than 24 months. Originally, we planned the experiment for 24 months, but later on we found it goes beyond 24 months. What are the host strains? Mainly cucurbits. But whether the bacterium can survive on other plants without really showing symptoms, and we have not been documented, but right now we are working on. Right now the best would be at least 3 years of crop rotation with non-cucurbits. Non-cucurbits and also weed control. Some of the weeds are in Cucurbitaceae family. They can be infected and carry bacterium from one season to another season. 3 years of crop rotation and very seriously weed control, and also have some chemicals. So far we have not found very good resistant cultivar. We have documented differences among the pumpkin cultivars to susceptibility to this bacterium, but we do not have very effective resistant cultivar so far. We're going to be recommending very soon for the publication. Chemicals. We have to apply the chemicals. The best chemical we have come up with so far is copper, like for example COSI 3000, any copper. But copper, reduces the incidence and the severity of the disease, but not able to completely control. If we mix the copper with some other chemicals, fungicide, like a Quintec. Quintec, for example, is used effectively to control powder mildew. If we mix the copper with Quintec, would be the best what we have for bacterial spot control and also powder mildew control. And beside that one, we do have few other chemicals not really very effective. They again reduce the incidence and the severity, but not highly effective. Would be copper and the plus Quintec would be one. If somebody wants for powder mildew, I'm going to talk about powder mildew. Add copper for any spray would be the best right now we can really suggest. This is there for bacterial spot.